so the place reeked. That's what the Rambam is saying. It wasn't air freshener. The Kodesh was to reach even those Jews who smelled so bad that there was no other way to get to them. What we did was we created a pleasant smell out of them. The avodah of the Kohen was to go into the Averis that the Mizbeach couldn't handle. They were beyond the scope of the Mizbeach. They stunk so badly. A fellow once came into Berditchev. They were Magidim. Magidim were these preachers. Now they needed to make money. So this preacher comes into Berditchev. And usually there were fire and brimstone. And he comes to the Rebbe of Berditchev and he says, I'd like permission please to speak. On Shabbos. That Shabbos was Shabbos Shuvah. He's like, take away the Stella from the Rav and Shabbos Shuvah. The speech the Rav's giving, it's okay. You speak in the afternoon, I'll speak in the afternoon, you speak in the morning, fine. Comes by the morning, everyone's there in davening. He says, but one condition, I'm giving an intro before you speak. So the Berditchever gets up and introduces the guest speaker. He says, we have with us a guest speaker over here, and I just want to say a few words before. I want to turn to God, he says. Almighty God, there are many mekatrigim, there are many prosecutors who seek to speak bad about your people. Oh God, I ask that you never listen to any of them, because your people are awesome. The bad, the good, they're all be'etzem good. And if anyone ever seeks to say words of prosecution, God, please don't listen to them. Defend them, defend them, defend them. That's what he said. Now there's a preacher over here, I'd like to call him up. If he wants to say good words about Am Yisrael, everybody please listen to him, know that he's talking the words of God. But if he needs to make a living because he needs to marry off his daughter or something, and needs to make some money, and he wants to say words that prosecute Am Yisrael, then please, God don't listen to him, and nobody listen to him. And with that, I would like to call our preacher to please rise. And the Maggid, the poor guy sitting over there, and he's like, it's okay. I don't have a drasha for today. And he didn't speak. He didn't speak because he had nothing more to say. On Motzei Shabbos, the Berditchever took him in and says, here's your payment. I want you to make money. I want you to make a parnasa. Go marry off your daughter that you need to marry off. But don't scream at Am Yisrael. Because even the Chelbana Jews are beautiful, holy Jews. They're all special. So that's wonderful. The trouble is, that answers up the korbanos of the Kodesh of every day. So why do we offer the Kodesh every day? Because the place reeked, the place smelled, and we had to create a beautiful smell in the process. That's why we did it. But there's the avodah of the Kodesh of Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur, you can't say this. Why? Because Yom Kippur is Achas Bashana. What's Achas Bashana? Yom Kippur is the one day a year when the Satan has no power. Ha-Satan is Gematria 364. Hey is 5, Shin is 300, Tes is 9, and Nun is 50. Total 364. How many days are there in the year? 365. Why? Because one day a year, the Satan has no power. On Yom Kippur, the Satan can't do anything. So if that's the case, why are you bringing the Kodesh on Yom Kippur? If the whole purpose of the Kodesh is to get rid of the bad smell, which we explained what the Rambam meant was not the reeking smell of the korbanos, but rather what the korbanos couldn't achieve. Why are you bringing korbanos on Yom Kippur? Why are you bringing the Kodesh on Yom Kippur? Now, if you think about it in the Rambam terms, the purpose of the Kodesh, right, was to get rid of the smell. So in the Beis Hamikdash, here's how it goes. There's Kodesh Hakadoshem, Kodesh, right? Then there's the Ulam, the Azara. So the Mizbeach over here, right? The Mizbeach over here, this Mizbeach was the one that caused the smell. If, however, so this smell would go all the way in through the doors, because the doors of the Ulam were open, all the way into the Kodesh, and it would affect this whole area. So by you offering korbanos, offering ketores over there, you were actually able to overcome the smell. But then, you walked into the Kodesh Hakadoshem. So let's take a look at the second base and make sure it was a paroiches over here and another paroiches over there. In the first base, make sure it was different. But you had to walk in like this, and then you walked all the way through between the two curtains into this one and all the way out there, and then you were standing in the Kodesh Hakadoshem. There was no way the smell would reach there too. So if the Rambam is saying the goal was to get rid of the bad smell, you don't get rid of the bad smell because there is no bad smell all the way in there. So what's the avodah of Ketores on Yom Kippur? That's the question. Yom Kippur is the holy day. Now I remember once I was like 15 years old, and we went 5 guys to a place called Potchefstroom, which was the little small hill in the middle of nowhere. 5 of us went. I was the chazan. 5 guys went to make sure there was a minyan. There was a shul of 1,000 people. 1,000 seats, I should say, and we needed to make a minyan there because there was no one living in town. And one of the Chavra got friendly with the president's son, the president of the shul. Had about 20 guys there, but they wanted to make sure there'll be a minyan the whole time. So on Yom Kippur, they were talking about what to do on Matzah Yom Kippur. So we were little kids, 15-year-olds. So on Matzah Yom Kippur, he says, "Let's go watch a movie." I wasn't that much of a moviegoer, but here the guys were going with the son of the president with his brand new car. And so they went to his house, they picked us up, so I went also. So we went straight out of Ne'ilah, screaming Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and Baruch Shem, and Hashem Elokim, into a movie. It's like a perfect setting, to go watch a movie right there. So I watched the movie and I really felt bad the whole time. As soon as, when we finished, we went back home. So we got into the car, traveling back, the car driving. This guy was driving his a brand new car. He just got this car, poor guy. He was like 18 years old. And he just took us for watching the movies and he's helping us out. I'm excited, we're all in the car. He's at a red light. A drunken driver goes head-on collision. Right there. We all walked out unscathed, but shaking. And I said, gosh, God has sometimes swift retribution. The power of Matzah Yom Kippur, I think, is such because on Yom Kippur, the Satan is not allowed to do anything. The Satan has no power. Ha-Satan is 364 days. So Matzah Yom Kippur is like, go eat, go do something wrong. The power is in a way great. You have to work harder in order not to fall. So why on Yom Kippur, on this holy day of the year, why on that day do I have to offer the Ketores? In 1966, in Tishrei Tafshin Chav Zayin, it was Rosh Hashanah. It was the Simchas Torah. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe gave a sicha, Farbrengen. And this Farbrengen, heaven help you if you're present at the Farbrengen. Farbrengen was on Simchas Torah at night. And at night, everyone had to go out into all the shuls and make a kofas with everyone. They would come back, they would start the actual kofas over there at 1 o'clock in the morning. So the Rebbe's Farbrengen, and there's mamish a handful of Hasidim, and everyone else is going to go out to be Mesameach Yidden all over, hours of walking. And if you try to come in back, sneak in as too early, that meant that you didn't go far enough. So all the old people who can't walk are present over there, and the Rebbe's talking and he asked this question. He says, the Pasuk says on V'zei Sabracha, in V'zei Sabracha it says, Yosimu K'teira be'apecha v'chol lil al mizbechecha, which means they will place K'teira be'apecha in your nose. That refers to the Ketores of Yom Kippur. V'chol lil al mizbechecha, that's the carbon that goes on the mizbech, that's the Ketores of all the year. And he asked this question and he says, so why on Yom Kippur, which is the holiest day of the year, why must you bring the Ketores? And he explains that when someone does something wrong and there's chel b'nam, there's 2 stages of how to bring in the negativity. There's what's called tshuva me'ahava and tshuva me'yira. Stage 1 is tshuva me'yira. Tshuva me'yira means you did tshuva, but you didn't really do tshuva, you didn't really change. Meaning, I look at this guy and I say to myself, this guy that was davening now before, right? I daven for him. If I met them in the street now, honestly, I cannot say that I've gotten over the insult completely. I can say I davened for him and I tried, but I can't say that I totally overcame any animosity. It's a work in progress. The chelbana is brought in, but it wasn't completely transferred. It wasn't purged. The avodah of Yom Kippur is to raise it to a step of away from tshuva me'yira into tshuva me'ahavo. And what does that mean? So Erev Shabbos, I'm trying to figure this one out. And I didn't know, how do you explain this? How do I explain what is the difference between tshuva me'yira and tshuva me'ahavo? One level is, I do tshuva and I haven't fully got out of the aveira. And tshuva me'ahavo is that I escaped the aveira completely. And then I get a call from someone, and he tells me, he says, Aseret Shemit it really works. The experience of Rosh Hashanah and Kippur is incredible. It's life transforming. He says, I just witnessed the power of Aseret Shemit the power of Yemei HaRachamim VaHaSlicha is the power of Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. I said, look, tell me what happened. So he tells me, and I listened to him, I was crying as I heard the story. And I said, that is the answer I was looking for. Here's a story he tells me. I'm going to change some of the details of the story in order for privacy. So the story was like this. About 30 years ago, a couple who was married for 12 years had major issues and separated. She was being accused of infidelity. He was accused of abuse. It was not popular at all at the time. Today, for some reason, it is. To get divorced. And agunas were unheard of, living agunas, but this is what happened over there. He left and refused to give her a get. She fought him. She got custody of all the children, 6 children. She got custody of all the children. The oldest was 11, 12. And all of them went with her. And he refused as a result to give her a get, nothing to her. About 7, 8 years passed by. The oldest son went to his mother and he said, I will not be part of any of this. I don't care what the courts say. And when he was about 13 years old, he left his mother and he moved in with his father and he hated his mother. And he didn't lose any opportunity to scream at her and shout at her. Initially they were still talking. He would call her names that you don't want to say over. And then when he was about 7 years after the separation took place, she got a heter in Meir Rabbanim. She got a heter from 100 Rabbanim to go remarry. And he went, this child of hers, besides the fight that was going on, he took the father's side and he went and wrote an article in one of the papers. He wrote an article that my mother, I disown her, I disown any connection. He says what she's doing is asur, and all the children born from any new marriage are going to be mamzer. That's what he said about his own mother. And the level of animosity was horrendous. And he got married. He married a wonderful girl. He had 5 kids of his own and living a wonderful life. He tells his kids we have Zaidi and Bobby, and there's another Zayda, and the other Bobby is dead. That's how they knew. She didn't know any of her kids. She didn't get to meet them. Nothing. She wasn't at the wedding. She wasn't allowed to anything. Years passed by. And he comes to meet the friend of his. This is the friend who's telling me the story. Comes to meet him, and every time he came to business to meet him, the guy says, no, when are we going to make peace? And he almost said it like as a mantra, like when are we going to make peace? Never really meant it, never thought it would actually happen. This year, a few days before Rosh Hashanah, 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah, he says, no. What's going on? The guy comes in and he says, listen, I need to borrow money, I'm short on whatever, I need $5,000. Can I borrow $5,000? He says, I can't give you $5,000, but why don't you ask your mother for the money? He thought for sure the guy would say no chance. He saw that the answer was nah. But as he said nah, he felt that hesitation for a second, and he said, if you don't mind, I'm calling her. He called her up. 30 years, they haven't spoken. The friend called her up, not the guy. He says, listen, here's a story. Your son came by. He needs money. Okay? She says, yeah, all he cares about, all he wants is money. When he needs money, he's going to come to me. He says, listen, give him the money. If you give him the money, you never know what's going to happen. She said, fine. She wrote a check. $5,000, she gave him, not as a loan, as a gift. He comes back a few days later, he takes the money from him, he takes the check. And he says, no. Want to speak to her? He says, no, I can't do it. He says, give me a few days. Let me think about it. Over those few days, in the middle, was Slichas night. Now this guy, every year, Slichas, he would go to one of these, there's a whole argument going on about Slichas. Do you go for the guitar Slichas, or do you go for the non-guitar Slichas? Which Slichas are you buying? This guy every year went to a Slichas, which was like this straight, simple, no music Slichas. And he comes in that year, this year, this Slichas. I tell you, when I done Slichas over here this year, I was moved, I was really, really inspired. A bunch of guys told me, so the Slichas was beyond inspiring because we sang it. So he gets to these words, he used to always go, blah, 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 say the words, and it's very holy. He got to these words and he says like this, and because the music was playing for a while on them and they were singing the words, and because there was a great song with it, and it was extended period of time, so he gets to these words and here's what he says. The beginning of Slichas goes, so he sings them. Lecha Hashem ha-tzedakah, to you God is righteousness. V'lanu boishes haponim, and to us it's embarrassment. Mani mar man daber man nitzadok, what can we say? Nach besod rochenu, let's search our ways. V'nach koiro, let's investigate what's going on inside our hearts. Because your hand is open, your right hand is open, lekabel shavim, to accept those who want to return. Loy v'chesed v'loy v'maisim bonu lefonecho, we didn't come to you with any righteousness, any deeds. Kedali mucharoshim dofaknu dosecha, we come knocking on your doors like paupers. And dosecha dofaknu rachum v'chanu, we knock on your door. No, al teshivenu, don't send us back home. Reika milfonecha, without anything. Milfanecha malkeinu reikam al teshivenu. And he said those words, and he says at that point, he says, you know what, God, I can make peace with you. I can make peace with my mother. That was Motzei Shabbos. Monday, he goes to the office of this guy. Comes into him, and the guy says, no. Sitting in his office, the lights are dim. The room is quiet. Sits on the couch, and the guy's sitting at his desk, his friend, and he says to him, no, you ready? He didn't say no. So he picks up the phone, and he dials the number. The guy says, I don't want to lose my phone, I don't want to know my number. So he dials the number of the mother. And the guy's describing to me what happened. He picks up the phone, and he says, hi. He says, do you have a few minutes to talk? And she says, I'm in the middle of something now, I'm with someone. Is it possible, can I call you back later? He says, you could, but if you want, there's an opportunity right now, and there's someone sitting here, right now, who really wants to talk to you. She says, I'm not busy. Hold on. Okay. And he hands the guy the phone. The guy is sitting on the couch, picks up the phone, and he's watching the conversation go. And this is 30 years, not just of no talk. She doesn't know his kids, she doesn't know his family, she has no idea who he is. And all that's been is animosity and this incredible fight. And pain. And he picks up the phone and he's watching and he says, what's the first word the guy's going to say? The guy gets up, stands up, he's pacing around, and takes the phone. The room is silent. And his first words are, "Hi, Ima." And he hears on the other end a pause. "Hi, Schaefer." And he felt at that moment, I felt I couldn't leave the room. The friends, as I backed down the room, I walked out. I felt there's a holy moment. And he says, everyone get out. The moment was holy. It was too powerful for anyone else to be present. So he left the room. He says at that moment was the connection that was built. A mother and a son who hadn't talked for 30 years were on the phone for 45 minutes. I don't know what they said. I don't know what the conversation was about. But it began with a "Hi, Ima. Hi, Schaefer." If you can appreciate what that power is of the mother and the son getting together, then you appreciate what the Kohen Gadol was doing on Yom Kippur with the Kodesh. He enters in with the Chelbana. All year round, the Kohen Gadol would take the Chelbana. He would say, okay, all the negativity that there's Jews, all the badness amongst Jews, let's bring it all, let's do tshuva. But some things are beyond tshuva. Yom Kippur is not the day of saying sorry. You can say sorry whenever you want. Yom Kippur is a moment of just connecting to God. And a mother and a child share such a bond that even if 30 years of pain separated them, they can always connect. We live today in a generation of real pain. There's tremendous pain going on. We're dealing with kids in our community. Your kid wants to commit suicide and tells you exactly how he's going to do it. Your kid suddenly figures out how he's going to do terrible things. Chas v'sholom, like the kid decides to become a homosexual at one point. And you have to figure out how to deal with it. Amidst such tremendous pain, the solution is one partial thing. Walk into the Kodesh Hakadoshem with the Kodesh, light up the Kodesh with the Chelbana, light up all Jews, all together. And that's the solution of there. It has to be entering that holy moment. The holy moment is a happy moment. If you can get into Yom Kippur with that holiness, with that happiness, because a mother and a son ultimately they love each other, they care for each other so much that nothing can separate them. The goal on Yom Kippur is to be able to say, and think about these words when you say them. You sing, Ki yanu amecha ve'yata elekeinu. We're your people and you're our God. Anu vanecha ve'yata avinu. You're our Father and we're your children. And once you see that, you're our Father and we're your children. You see that connection that exists between us? A father and a child, a mother and a child. That's the connection of Yom Kippur. All we need to do is create that, let our children feel that. And we love them just because they are. Our relationship with God is that we get into this room, this oneness, this connection with God. That is the avodah of Yom Kippur. It's to be able to daven and say to God, contemplate this, focus on this, think about this. God, we are your children and you're our Father. And if you enter that holy zone, that connection with God, all the negativity disappears. That's the point a Jew needs to be at. Total oneness, total communion with God. That's the Kodesh Hakadoshem. At that point, the Ketores, the reek, the stench, the Rambam saying. The Rambam is saying there's the Korbanos of all year round. Then get rid of that stench with the avodah of the Ketores every day. Yom Kippur is not to get rid of the stench. Yom Kippur is to take all the negativity straight into God and say, listen, hi Mami, hi Shefele. It's to be able to feel the oneness of the connection with God. It can only be done in Simcha. It can only be done with a passionate yearning for God. And that's the focus of Yom Kippur. To walk into the Kodesh Hakadoshem, take the smoke, fill up the entire room with the smoke of the Ketores, with the smoke that says, all Jews, we are all one, we are all here together. God, you're my Father. Focus on that point. God, you're my Father. The relationship of a mother, a father, and a child. That's the point of tshuva. Tshuva me'aba, the ultimate tshuva. A holy moment is a happy moment.